Good morning, everybody. Today we will be presenting differences in locomotion in safari animals. We will take you on a virtual tour and explain all the different types of locomotion. Our targeted age group is K through second grade and will be presented by Kiera and Bailey, as well as myself, Dulce.
Now you might be wondering, what is locomotion? And it's simply movement. However we get from one place to another is locomotion. When we move our bodies to eat, sleep, drink, play with our toys, that's locomotion. Everybody does it, and it's required for certain activities.
Alright guys, now that we got a good definition on what locomotion is, we would like to show you a short clip of a few different animals in the desert showing off their locomotion. After the clip, we will look a bit closer at 6 different animals and see if you can guess how they move around.
In the desert, it's a magical land, no forest. You see a lot of sand, it gets hot for animals and men. Out in the desert, baby elephants going for a run, and the baby goat playing in the sun. Be careful around the scorpions. Out in the desert, see the beetle leave his hole. Yeah, he's got somewhere to go. That Gila monster's moving slow. Out in the desert, can I get a cactus? Cactus. Can I get a cactus? Cactus. Can I get a cactus? Cactus. Oh, watch out for that snake! See the donkey eating grass while a jeep goes rolling past. People ride on camelback. Out in the desert. In the desert, it's a magical land, no forest. You see a lot of sand, it gets hot for animals and men. Out in the desert.
Now let's begin by clicking on videos throughout the presentation and guessing how these animals are moving. First, click on this video of the fish, and what type of locomotion do you think it's doing? If you guess swimming, then you're correct. Fish swim by using their tail fin and moving it back and forth like so. The other fins, the pectoral, pelvic, dorsal, and anal, help to steer the fish in whatever direction they need to go. You might be wondering, are there even lakes in the Sahara Desert? I mean, it's basically all sand. Actually, there's 18 known lakes in the Sahara, and most marine life actually cannot survive in these lakes because the water is not suitable for life. But there are a few special cases of fish that actually do. Pictured here is an example of one. Now, it doesn't have a common name, but you can read the scientific name. It's small, and it can survive the lake's acidity, and it moves by moving its tail fin. As the Earth developed, animals needed to have evolutionary change to be able to survive on land. Now, in the ocean, fish and whales and any aquatic life only used their tails and their fins. It required no muscles and no strength to be able to survive on land. After looking on the GIF on the left, what is this snake doing? What's the term of locomotion that a snake does? If you guess slithering, then you're correct. Now, snakes, they do not have limbs like other creatures on land. They need to adapt with motion of the body and their muscles to be able to get to different places. They do this in 4 different ways. The most common one you'll see is a serpentine, and that's when the snake moves in the S formation. It stays on the body during this and uses their muscles to flex in an S shape. Next is sidewinding. This is shown by the desert snake, and it is the most common use for movement on slippery or sandy surfaces, which is why you will see it in a lot of Sahara snakes that live there. Next is concertina. This is shown by the middle picture on the right, and it's called this mainly because the snake will move its head slightly, and then the rest of its body will shrivel up, kind of like an accordion, so it's close to concert. And then it will push with the back of its body up, and it goes back and forth with the front and the back. Next is rectilinear, and this is shown on the bottom right picture, and it's when the snake is generally in a straight line, and it propels with the scales on its body to move along. Next, we'll talk about animals that have developed limbs and use them and their muscles to walk.
I will now show a clip of a small desert dweller, and I would like to see if anyone can guess how this little guy moves around. Alrighty, thanks for all the awesome guesses. So the correct answer is jumping. Jumping is to push oneself off of a surface and into the air by using the muscles in one's leg and feet. Our next animal is pretty popular, so guessing how they move should be a breeze. But let's go ahead and watch the clip. Awesome! So the answer for this one is walking. Fun fact, ostrich's legs bend backwards when walking. Does anyone know why? Perfect. So basically what we think is their knee is actually their ankle, which is why it seems to bend backwards. And actually their knee is placed up a little bit higher under the plumage of their wings, and so we can't really see feathers, so we can't really see them that well.
This next form of locomotion is called running. When an animal runs, it uses all four legs to push off of the ground as hard as they can, and they use all of their leg muscles and their stomach muscles. When we saw the video and saw the cheetah chasing the gazelles, we can see how fast both of them are going. We can see that they form a little bendy shape, and they pick up both of their legs and use two legs at a time. They'll either use their back two legs or their front two legs to push off and keep going in the motion. Whenever we see these similarities, we can see these pictures on the side, and we can see the bendy shape. We also see when an animal is running, they also extend their bodies as far out as they can. This also aids in the movement. The last form of locomotion is flight. I have one big question for you guys. Do y'all think all birds fly? Well, actually, not all birds can fly. Only the ones that have the perfect bones and the perfect feathers that allow them to. When we look at the pictures on the side, we can see those big birds that we see on TV, or we could see them at the zoo. And these are like the ostrich and the emus. These birds, unfortunately, are too big to be able to fly, and their feathers are not big enough to support them. But when we look at the bottom one, which is the lilac-breasted roller, we see that he is small and dainty, and he has long wings. Those wings allow for him or her to fly and glide through the air. They also have hollow bones that do not weigh them down in comparison to the ostrich and the emu.